today?
It's so nice to be here, Chirag. I'm so excited to hear you.
It's funny, Stacy was like one of the first 3 people I met when I got to Compass. AirPod Pro.
We were just talking about doing a women's event the next day after your Boston event. I'm excited.
Good stuff. I get excited when everyone's black screens turn into human faces.
I encourage everyone when they're coming on these Zoom sessions, these ones, other ones, if possible, show up, be prepared, turn your camera on, have your geographic location. It's like seen and be seen business. And, when people see you on these trainings through various places at Compass, eventually people become recognizable. And then when you either meet in person at an event or you see each other in another setting, you're like, hey, I know you from all those calls. It's nice to put a face to the name. So let's get started. We have a lot to do today. And I have to tell you, even before we start, I'm beyond excited about this session because there's so many interesting things we have to share with you. And the first thing I'd want to do is just acknowledge all of you, because I believe most of you took some form of action. And I often get asked what the most successful agents are doing. And it's 3 things, right? Number 1, they leave their comfort zone. You have to take some sort of different action if you want different results. Then the second thing is they start doing it consistently. And consistency will give you momentum, right? Momentum is the most powerful thing that you could have in your business and life. Because when you have momentum, that feeling where you feel like you could do anything because everything is going well? That is where you need to get, because then you could take groups like this and use them as multipliers, right? Once you have momentum, then where are the multipliers? But you need to do those first 3 things, because the idea of doing things the same will always leave you in the same place. And if you look at this industry, us all doing things the same way is what's got us into a lot of these predicaments with venture capital, sites like Zillow, where we literally have to buy our leads back from. So let's get started. All right, so let's go through a quick recap. So last week we talked about likely to sell, and the 2 big things that we had talked about was obviously the concept that they're seller leads, but ultimately making sure that you tag these people, separate them, and communicate in a way that follows our 3 principles of great email marketing. Be conversational, add value, and create intrigue. If you do those 3 things every single time, no one really can be upset with you, right? That's one variation of the email. The second one is there's a direct and indirect approach. And I got an email from somebody that asked, and the question was along the lines, if I have some of these people, then I really probably shouldn't have sent this message to, and I want to make sure I clean my data. And there's 2 schools of thought around that. The first school of thought is, if you're conversational, add value, create intrigue, no one's really going to be offended. Number 2, if not, you want to go through and just kind of clean out your lists. And then you might want to take a more direct approach, right? About how you've been speaking with agents about the market, because we had 2 different variations of that email. And, the other win we'll go through is accountability group. But, to start things off, what are your wins? Drop in the chat something good that's happened to you, whether it's from this session, in your life. On last session, someone said they had the new grandkids. Someone lost 28 pounds. Somebody got 3 new listings. What good has happened for you between last session and this session? Let's see what we have to say. Drop it in the chat. I had a listing appointment from the email. I turned 50. Congratulations. New listing. The phones are ringing. 2 responses from mailers, listings. See, people are busy here. Brooke, can you spotlight Jessica, please? We're good. So I do know I woke up and can move. That might be my favorite one. So I want to introduce you all to Jessica. Many of you know her because I know we have a good San Diego group here. And, I always like getting messages from people. And someone actually messaged me the other day because it seems like the fastest way to find you is through your Instagram DM. I'm like, well, I respond to all my own messages. And she sent me a very interesting message. It was like a screenshot of sending the email and how her client responded. And, I wanted her to kind of walk everyone through exactly what she did, how she did it. And there was 2 other bonuses that she shared with us in the morning session. So tell them what happened, Jessica, and introduce yourself.
Hi, good morning. Yeah, my name is Jessica Schatz. I'm on Jason Cassidy's team here in San Diego. Hi to all my fellow San Diego agents. I know that there's a lot on this call. It's really nice to see everyone. So simply last week, we were tasked with, tagging our likely to sell leads and sending them the $6 trillion email, in which I did. And I can't stress this enough, but literally moments later, I got a text from a past client saying, Jessica, it's so funny you sent me that message. I'm 99% sure that I will be selling my place here in North Park in the next 2 months or so. So it immediately resulted in a new listing. I got together then with him last week. We set him up with Compass Concierge to remodel one of his bathrooms first, and should be listing in the next couple weeks. So what's also exciting about that as well is not only did it directly, turn into a brand new listing in a neighborhood that I farm in North Park, for those of you who are in San Diego, but he's gonna buy as well. So for all my San Diego agents, you'll see it on Compass coming soon here within the next couple of days in North Park. And yeah, I wanted to share that story because obviously in this market, we all are searching for listings. And just from sending that one email from last week's first coaching session, just the first one of many, it's going to turn into 2 deals. So yeah, I wanted to share that with you because it was a task that took, minutes, and will turn into 2 deals. So thank you for that, Chirag. And yeah, that's my little story.
Wait, didn't you get 2 other listing appointments from the email as well?
Yes. And then 2 other listing appointments from the email as well. Yeah.
So what I want to point out to everyone is, it's called trigger events. You never know what's going to trigger you to do something that you've been holding off or thinking about doing. And when I think about messaging and adding value into people's lives, it's meeting people where they are, but you don't know where anybody is. And in essence, what she did is she sent somebody an email, they reached out to her. Now, not only are they going to take action on what they've been waiting on, but she's going to give them money for free from Compass to upgrade their bathroom and to get more money for their homes. And that's all because she had the courage to send that one email. Someone else's life got infinitely better.
Yeah.
So I referred to Jason's team and you closed their deal. So someone sent you guys a deal. So thank you for joining us. And look, I encourage you to reach out to Jessica. If you're looking for an accountability partner, someone who actually is going to help you hit the button, she sounds like a great candidate to me. So thank you, Jessica.
Yeah, no, thanks.
So one of the things that I want to share with you guys, and everyone write this down, the goal of great email marketing and any marketing is having the conversation the other person wants to have versus having the conversation we think they want to listen to. Right? I'm going to say that again. You need to make the cosmic shift from the conversation. You need to make the cosmic shift to the conversation the other people want to have versus the one you think they want to listen to. So in the end, when we're sending stuff to the wrong people, it's what we think they want to listen to. When you get an email and it's a good email and it speaks to you, it's what you want to have. It's someone meeting you where you are. Exactly, Jennifer. And yes, she did send 1 email, Annette, and got 1 listing secured and 2 more appointments. Now, I just want to give a shout out to our accountability coach, Julian in New York, Kate from Westchester, and Stephen and Irma in Florida. It's not too late to join an accountability group. They all had their first sessions. I've heard amazing feedback from the people in here. So these are the timeframes that they're available. Brooke will put the link in the chat, or you could just click this link and just sign up quickly if you want to. So the team leaders meet Monday at 11:30. The team members meet Wednesday at 11:30, and solo agents meet Wednesday at 11:30. They're all different groups, and we wanted to put people in with similar agents, right? If you're a brand new agent, you should be with other brand new agents because you can all learn together. If you're a team leader and you manage teams, it's a different type of business that you run. The same thing if you're just a principal agent, a solo agent. So we've had about, out of the roughly 250 people, 180 of you are all in accountability groups. So the accountability groups are a direct extension of what we do here, and our facilitators will help put it together. So let's get into one of my favorite topics. CRM is marketing. What does that really mean? Well, I think your CRM, these are all Eastern times. That's a good flag. You know, when you think about CRM as marketing, your entire CRM is marketing, because everything you send someone is who you are, what you represent. They're your words, they're your brand. Everything that goes out of there is marketing. And oftentimes we think of marketing just for our listings, right? We think about marketing for our brand. If we start making this shift that everything in our CRM is marketing, it becomes very different, right? And marketing in real estate, I find more as crisis care. You could sit here and realize, oh God, I have to send an email. Then people send out an email. Then you go to another great workshop and you're like, oh my God, they told me to send a newsletter. They send a newsletter. And to people, it's very confusing. And again, is it the message that they want to hear or the one you think they should listen to? So going forward, I want you to realize every single thing you send out of there is a representation of who you are. I like to think of every email I send as a first impression. If this was the only thing that anyone ever saw about me, what would they think? And when you start communicating with people that way, do you think things change just a little bit? This is about strategy, right? So using data to make more money in your CRM, right? How many people actually use data to influence the decisions that they make and how they market to people? Yes, no, maybe so. Drop it in the chat. Gail, I see you raising your hand. Kelly, yes, no, yes. $50-50. So we have a mix. So ultimately, we want to improve the client experience through data, you know, which essentially is speaking to people in the way they want to be spoken to, right? If you have kids under 5, you probably want something different than you're telling empty nesters about a happy hour, right? Because ultimately, and this is my personal and professional opinion, real estate's broken down into 3 segments, right? Before, during, and after. Due to our lack of proactivity in some areas, the before and during have been cannibalized by third-party websites, venture capital, and other areas. The only area that we have left to hold on to is after, right? How do we treat our clients? Ultimately, what's the experience we curate and what happens after? It is the most valuable part of the transaction that people are hyper-focused on, right? So the fastest way to improve client experience is only communicating to people in things that they want to hear, listen to, and will find value. So if you, Kelly, if I only sent you things that you heard, only things that you wanted to hear, things that got you excited and added value as to where you were in your life, you'd be very happy to hear from me. If not, it's another email that's spam. But the problem is, if you don't know what you're looking for, you will never find it. Like essentially, look at your CRM. Hit yes if the idea of taking all those people and putting them together into similar interests is very overwhelming. Right? Simple or overwhelming in the chat? Yes. It sounds overwhelming. Feels good after. I love that, Lloyd. Think about it. Imagine somebody hired you to do a job, right? And in the job, it said, hey, go in this room of 2,000 people and I want you just to group everyone into similar interests. You'd be like, okay, see you later. That is not a fun job. And the pure essence of working your CRM should be simple. And we're going to go through a process of doing that. But here's the thing. When I said you don't know what you're looking for, you'll never find it. Here's the first thing. Do you know where your business comes from? Do you know where your business comes from? This is what it looks like to know where your business comes from. So this is our shift into strategy. We're going to give you a system today. We're going to give you the spreadsheet, a marketing calendar, and emails, right? Obviously, because we need to do stuff. So when you look at this, right, here's some interesting things. And this is not my pie chart. This is actually Kate Bowers, who will be on here later. And I ask all of my individual clients, I want to know where every single thing comes from, right? So Steve, we'll give you what you need so you can make your own pie chart, and everyone going forward will have a strategic way of thinking about their business. But here's the thing. It's one thing to know where your business comes from, right? So if you look at Zillow leads, they make up 6.5% of our business, but now it only makes up 2.5% of our GCI. Now let's go back again. Past clients make up less than 25% of her business, but it makes up 32% of her GCI. Do you think this will change strategically how you market, communicate with people? Absolutely. Now, here's the other thing. As this quarter ended, as a coach, you have to ask people, how is your first quarter? Close, pending, where's your numbers? What's your budget? How's your P&L? All of these big picture things. And a handful of people came to me and they asked the same question, what's next? And I said, that's a bad question. That's a bad thought. I said, I'm very concerned. And then I was just quiet. I could see the nervousness just going on people's faces, right? So I'm a very concerned kind of person. Next implies what you're doing is finished or didn't work. Now, the essence of making your business simple is having one system to go off of, correct? And if you have one North Star, it's easy to follow. Coaching is just as confusing as when you worked at Compass. Before you came to Compass, you have to go into all these different places. Well, you need one coaching system that's built on your company's platform that you're here for. So this is a simple way to think about this going forward. Take what you want out of it, take all of it, take none of it, but I suggest taking something. Now, I want you to understand your business to your GCI and understand how you spend money, right? So if a third of her income is coming from her past clients, do you think a third of her budget in marketing, advertising, spending should be going into these people? Absolutely. But the problem is people have this Zillow leads, 6.5% of their business, spending time, money, resources for 2.5% of their GCI, and those people get more focused than the third of their business. But again, you don't know where to focus and how to communicate because no one really told you how to look for these things. Then if you go back, you can break it even down to the age demographics, right? This is how you segment audiences. And again, you put this into a sheet that we're going to give you that Kate made, and it'll do all of this for you. Then you know how to use tags and you know how to nurture, and now you know how to communicate with people. Is this all very simple? Yes? Did I lose anybody? Okay, good. Now, this is a big block concept along with budgeting and stuff that we all need to do. Actual clients. All this information is from your MLS, right? When you close the deal, you'll know where the source of the transaction is, what town they bought in. Generally, you'll know the age of your clients. This is all information that you have, right? Farming is a different thing. So you want to make sure when you're thinking about this and you're thinking about your investments, right? An investment is something that you're looking to grow over time and you understand the time to it, right? But people that already have hired you make your life easier because they've already bought into you. Now, I want to go through this lifetime value of a customer. You all, I'm sure, undoubtedly understand how much a real estate transaction powers an economy, how many different vendors. Like when the real estate market collapsed, the entire economy collapsed, correct? But when you look at venture capital and these technology firms putting money into real estate, it's that number that they're looking at, the lifetime value of a customer. In real estate, we don't ever think about that. So remember how I said that we want to make like looking through your database simple on who to focus on, where to market, what messages to send, right? Well, number one, if you know what your clients are, what percentage of your GCI they make up, and just their general demographic of where they are in their life, that's step one. The second one is understanding their value. Because if Jennifer Lay sends me 6 referrals versus someone else who might have just bought a house with me one time and I never heard from again. And they both got the same gift at the end of the year. And I've made $200,000+ off of Jennifer's referrals. Do you think she might be a little upset? Could be, right? Now, here's how this works in real estate. So Jennifer buys a house and we're in Montclair, New Jersey. I'm selling a new subdivision, right? The house is $1 million, 3% commission, right? I think Montclair might be 2.5, but if you look at the market, 2.5, let's just say 3%. So 3% commission, the GCI is $30,000. So Jennifer's lifetime value is $30,000, right? So you want to break these up into tags, 0 to 25K, 25 to 50, 50 to 75, 75 to 100. So you can start categorizing it, right? Now, Jennifer knows Kelly Perkins in Laguna Beach. And, she says, I want you to move here. They've been friends forever, and now they could live in the same neighborhood. Now, Kelly comes here, buys a house in that subdivision, and now same $1 million, same 3%, same $30,000 GCI. Jennifer now gets a new tag because her total lifetime value is $60,000. I'd update this as a note in our CRM. And now Kelly's value is $30,000. Now, if I categorize my clients like that, wouldn't it be really easy to start prioritizing my most valuable relationships? Absolutely. It'd be easy to understand how to network people. Like if everyone has been for my 100,000+, you could call these VIPs or whatever you want. But I like monetary amounts because then you could actually directly correlate in a number what these people have done with you, right? So now if I look at my high net worth people, you might want to put them to dinner. You might realize they're entrepreneurs. You might realize 4 of these people are all lawyers and they might want to meet each other, right? You can start thinking through things differently. Now you could start budgeting for gifts. I always tell somebody, if you're going to buy a $200 bottle of champagne or a $100 bottle of champagne with a nice note, opt for the nice note with the nice champagne, right? You could save money and it's more authentic. So this is how we categorize the lifetime value of a customer. Listen, you hope, Sasha, to have people that are 200+. The numbers just keep going up. It doesn't really matter, right? Because it's based on what their value is. This is a concept that I want all of you to take into your business. And by the way, if you want to sell your business or book a business one day and someone asks you, well, how much is your business worth? This is the easiest way to do it. All you have to do is just update the notes of who they referred, how much it is, when you send them mailers. And the other part is this is going to take time. Of course, it's going to take time. But so does meeting random anonymous strangers on the internet and converting cold leads. This is the concept of having a North Star and going deep. So let's talk about doing this. Organize and archive. No new revolutionary concept here. But this is what I want you to think about, and this might be a different perspective. Now, watch this. This is 15 seconds. Okay. One, that's how you close people, but 2, if that felt like a long time to you, you probably don't meditate. And for the people that meditate, it didn't feel like anything. But 15 seconds, that's a good enough time to think about somebody, right? In 15 seconds, if you don't know who the person is, get rid of them and archive them. So when you think about your CRM and the people in there, I think of the word confidence, right? Write that down, confidence. Because in the end, if you have confidence in connecting with the people, you'll actually follow through on the task. If you don't have confidence, you're never going to reach out to that entire database, and that beautiful scenario that Jessica had this morning might not happen for you. Because it's those people that we don't know is why we don't want to reach out to them. And no, when you archive contacts, you're not completely deleted. They're there for later. You actually have to go into the archive to delete them. So everyone's CRM is different, right? Whether you're farm, I don't know how you farm and everything else, right? Do you email these people? If you email them, then keep them in there. If not, keep your CRM clean, segmented. And now let's look at this if this was your closet, right? If this was your closet, groups are like shirts, pants, things of that nature. But then when you look at them, there's all different types of shirts. There's t-shirts, button downs, polo shirts, cutoff shirts, tank tops, workout shirts. These are the different ways that you categorize everyone. Are we all on the same page here? So there are 3 types of people that should be in your CRM. People whom you've closed business with, people who have referred you business, or people you want to have a relationship with to grow your business. That's it. Everything else can potentially be a distraction, right? Can we make this any more focused for you? This is it. If you don't recognize the people in 15 seconds, and if you recognize them, they're not identifiable in one of these 3 things, you should just get rid of them. You can always bring them back from the dead if you want, but just get rid of them. Now, here are the 3 things that ruin your CRM. Trying to make every contact perfect. If you have all of these people and you've not done anything and you're like, okay, I'm going to get their name, their email address, I'm going to look up their social media, I'm going to look up their date, I'm going to put all this in, you're never going to do anything because you're never going to have any positive reinforcement from the task. And as a direct result of that, you're not going to want to do it. So make it simple. Number 2, the idea of quantity over quality. The only person that cares about quantity is your ego. That's it. If you're a newer agent here, build a quality database. The industry standard is 10%. What is 10%? 10% of your database, if marketed to and communicated properly, will send you a referral. So really, you only need 100 people a year to get 10 deals because you want to spend time focused. And too many random people, which make it difficult to focus on who matters. Again, remember we talked about that room in the beginning. Imagine walking into a room with 2,000 people and they say, all right, go build relationships. Where do I go? Who do I talk to? And then in the end, you'll end up in a corner talking to one person. Sound familiar? Stop making this overwhelming for yourself. In life, everything is simple. People make things complicated. People. We can make anything complicated, right? Now think of your core 4. Past clients, sphere of influence, agents, and vendors. Vendors are a great source of business. So are agents. Do not put all your cold leads into your CRM. It's going to clutter up. It's sacred space. You have to close the finish line, Sasha, to be in your CRM, right? Like you have to be a winner. You have to make the deal happen. And if not, you can't go. So now let's talk about what this actually looks like into your business. Kate, are you here? Can we spotlight Kate?
I don't think she's here.
Okay, I don't know what happened. All right, we'll keep going. So when you start thinking about applying data in your CRM, right? This is what it actually looks like. If you look at the groups, those are like the shirts, pants, and everything. It's active clients. Now, if you start looking at the tags, these are all different ways that she broke down her thing, that they're a buyer, prepare your home for winter, right? That's an active campaign that they have. Kids under 5, and the value is there. So all of these different things are here, and it's part of how she figures out her messaging. Because if you don't know who you're speaking to, how likely are you to send the right message? Now, this is all derived from data. Now, this is also another thing that you could pull out of these charts. What towns they served in. Because if you look in Westchester, right, if you have 20% of your business in Katona, Lewisboro, you could send a winter email like, hey, here are all the great events happening in winter in Katona. It's a very simple email. It doesn't have to be long, but it has to be direct. And you can just link out to somebody else's website. Like in Westchester, they have Westchester Magazine that always has stuff like this that you can link out to. A second thing is everyone should set up Google Alerts. Google Alerts are the best way to get relevant information right away. As soon as it hits Google, based on your search preferences, it'll go right to your inbox. So if you have your categories and tags broken down of people, it's very easy to find. Now, when you apply the data, right, you just pick the tags, and as you can see, here's a simple message. You know, here is a list of fun, friendly holiday events going on in Westchester this month. And she could just link to an article. Can we all do this? Hit yes. I hope you can say yes. Easy peasy. Now, before I go forward, I just want to touch upon something. After going through this for like the last 25 minutes, do you all feel that marketing and making money through your CRM just got easier? Do you think your clients are going to be happier with the messages that you're going to send? Do you think you can make better business decisions knowing exactly where your business came from and what percentage of your GCI it resulted in? Do you think you'll be more confident in the way that you engage with people because there's not going to be strangers in there anymore? Think of your CRM as your home. You don't want to let strangers in there. Only people that you know. It is the most valuable thing in your entire business besides yourself. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Who here now is challenged and says, this is all great, Chirag, but what the hell do I send people? Right? Isn't that where people get stuck? Hit stuck if you're mentally stuck of like, okay, this is all great, but write the word stuck. I want to see where people are about how do I send information? See, now there's honesty. And the reason I have people share this publicly in the chat is I want the few people that aren't writing this, that might be a little embarrassed or might not want to even share, and that's fine, to realize that everybody's stuck. There's like 60 people that have written that, so at least half. So if half are saying it, there's another probably 20, 30 people that want to say it that just won't. Number one, Google alerts. Just go on Google and save things relevant to the people that you're in. If you have kids under 10 years old, you will understand this. When the weekend comes, not only do you have your job and everything else, you are a professional entertaining committee. You have to find something for those kids to do every single weekend. If somebody sent me a newsletter every Wednesday that says, you know, your weekend plans for kids under 10 or kids weekend, I would love you and I would send you business and I would never forget you, because every weekend I'd go somewhere like, oh, thank God. You know, I'd say Jessica sends that email every week and I don't have to plan where to go. It's just a list of stuff. I sit down with my wife, I pick out. That's adding value. So for all of you that have clients that have under 10 children, understand those parents are just looking for things to do. So those people are searching on Google. Those people are looking things up. They're going on mom blogs, right? Why can't you do it for them? Listen, we provide luxury experiences. The number one thing about luxury is people don't mind paying for it. You want to know why? Because they know that what they're going to get. And it's generally something that makes your life easier and it's done for you and provides a predictable experience. This does not have to be anything complicated. You don't need to write like Einstein's theory on the next light bulb in these emails. They have to just be a couple lines. And like if you took that winter email and you used our little ninja trick of removing the signature and you wrote send from my iPhone, man, does that look personal, right? So let's go through what some of these things look like. And I'm going to share another site with you here. So there's a site called, hold on. Oh, Jessica used the sent from my iPhone trick when she got the $6 million, when she got those 3 deals. See, now those are like the little differences that make a difference. And so one of the things that people say is, well, don't I have to update the kids under 5 as they grow older? Sure, anything great in life requires work. But this is your entire business. Again, if you go back to the data, if 90% of your business is coming from this area, why wouldn't you want to spend time in doing this? So this is a really cool website. that helps you figure out what people are searching for online, right? So if I would write real estate trends here and I hit search, what are real estate trends? What is the trend on the real estate? Like, these are all the questions that people are searching for. Will properties continue to rise? Real estate trends 2021. Will properties fall in 2022? By the way, these are great subject lines to put in your email, right? Again, I shared with you, this is about having strategy. Steve, I see that little head nod that made my day. This is how you think through things, and this is how you beat out other people. Strategy beats talent every single day of the week. Anyone could know how to hit a button, anyone could send an email, but when you start thinking about people, you really care about them, and you meet them where they are and give them things that make their lives better, guess what? People really like you. And these people have already bought into you. Correct? So now let me show you how. Now, after this is done, who wants to know now how to think through marketing like you are a luxury brand, a Fortune 500 company that has to deal with multiple different client bases and wants to know how to do it simply? This should be all of you. If not now, then I'll get worried if it's not me. Hold on. So we'll share all this with you. We'll share the spreadsheet with you before I share this, we're going to give you the spreadsheet on how you get the data. It's literally putting the things out in the pie charts are made for you. The second thing is we're going to give you this marketing calendar. The third thing is on that other sheet that had the emails, we're going to add them on for you. Sound good? Look, my promise when I started coaching to every client I had was not recreating the bad experience I had as an agent, where I'd go places and everyone tell me what to do. I'd be really excited. And I go back and I'm by myself and I want to do it. And I had no idea what to do. And I had no place to ask questions and nobody to support me. It is literally demoralizing. And it's a reason that people don't do things. And when you put like your time, energy, resources into something and you really want to do it, and then all the things aren't there, like to me, it's wrong. Right? So you'll never in any of our programs ever have a place where you don't have everything. Imagine I told you to make a marketing calendar and then I didn't give you a marketing calendar. It's like mean, right? So this is what this looks like. Now I'm going to go through a little project management and stuff like that here. So look, when you start thinking through your business, everything needs a due date. And the due date is not the day that you send out the email, right? So if I wanted to send an email out on April 21st, I'd want a due date, right? And when you put in a due date, put a time. Because if it's a day, you're never going to do it. When you see a time, right, Gail? If it says April 17th by 3 p.m., I have something now to work towards. So the due date is when the email is done by. So you have time to review it, think through it, and everything else. And then the email to send out is on April 21st at 6 a.m. Who's the author? If you have a team member, you could put the person's there. Subject line, whether it's a bulk email or a newsletter. Content, right? Like what's this content about, right? It's a list address. These are groups. We're going to update these with the actual groups of our core 4, what's in the Compass CRM. Tags, we're going to put a list of tags. And then call to action, enter in the keywords or hashtags you used or however you want to call to action. So now what I suggest you do is put your logo here. We're going to make this, you can make a copy when we send this all to you. And look, you copy this. Look like kids under 5, empty nesters, your main groups, put them in here. So now when I'm marketing to somebody, I know when I sent them the last email, right? There are 2 other columns that we'll add here is open rates and click through rates. So now when I'm looking at this, does this show you an entire map now of how you communicate with people? You're going to look at every email, you know, every click-through rate, you'll know the tags, the call to actions you use. This is how you could track what works in marketing, what doesn't work on marketing. If you use one call to action, you got a 50% click-through rate. Guess what? You should keep using that. Guess what? You use the subject line from Answer the Public, and you know that those things work really well. Dig in deep. I want every single one of you to have deeper businesses and stop going wide. Your past clients and centers of influence and relationships are the lifeline of your business. In helping Robert build his action plan, it was amazing to go into his mind and see how he views relationships. If you're a new agent, be obsessed with building relationships with people and build strategically. Because if you're a new agent, you have all the right ways to do this. Believe me, I work with 1,000+ agents a week between all these groups and programs, and the majority of people don't think about it like this. So we want you to be drilled in and focused, because if you were a luxury brand, they'd be thinking about you like this as a customer. There's data, there's research, there's testing, there's split testing. There's a thought of the sequence of what comes out. Imagine a TV show that happened one day on one time, another day on another time. Like, it's just confusing. We don't want to confuse people anymore, and we don't want you to be confused. So in terms of our time today, those are the things that we have. I have time for questions. And look, everything's going to be on our platform. And like I said from Tony Robbins, knowing is not enough. You must take action. The accountability groups will be going through how you break that data up on those worksheets, right? That is the crux of all this. Understanding where your business comes from, and then it'll be fun. So it'll be fun to understand after that your GCI, and then looking at your budgets of how you spend your money. So does anyone have questions? We made sure to leave time for Q&A, and then we'll platform demo, which is where all your recordings will be. This is where all the deliverables will be and everything else. Farming and canvassing. Okay, farming is sending mail. Canvassing is knocking on people's doors. I love my friends in the West Coast. They're like, you can go door knocking. You can't do that here in the Northeast. If somebody knocked on my door, I would be like, what are you doing here? Please describe the difference between the core 4 and the 3 groups that go into your database: closed biz, refers biz, want a relationship. The core 4 are groups that those other areas, Kansas, closed biz, referred biz, want a relationship, are tags. So the most likely to sells, I would tag them as likely to sells and put them in your database. And I would reach out to them every 30 days. Listen, remember, if you're sending people just general information, there are always going to be people pissed off. And I would go out of my way to make it really simple. It just says, like, we realize our informative emails are not for everyone. If you ever want to be taken off our list, please simply let us know. Make it clear that this isn't for everybody. Luxury brands are not for everybody. Great. If they say, take me off your list, we have the canned response. I got really excited. I appreciate you sharing that. If I could ever be helpful, please let me know. So if you have all these agents, organize the agents, right? Like, if you have an awesome business, one of the best ways to build agent relationships is give them value. Share, like, if I was an agent, I would have a monthly newsletter that says what's working in real estate now. And I would send it out to people every month with whatever I'm doing that works. Pretty simple, right? We don't have to recreate the wheel. Everything that we need is in front of us, and everything that we need for the next steps is inside of us. There is nothing you need outside the platform, the tools, and a strategy. You came here for strategy and actionable items and a direction to go in. That's my job, is to give you a clear direction. So I'd like to just get an idea from everybody. Hit clear if you feel like you have a clear direction going forward now, in terms of how you work and what you want to do, breaking up your business and everything else. All right, so I have Deborah here to do our demo on how to get on the platform. The accountability groups will be going next week. And the dates are there. So if you want to join, we provided the link earlier. And look, again, thank you so much for being here and being part of this community. You know, it means a lot to me to see people that show up and literally investing their time and money into making their lives better to improve the lives of others. So you guys are all truly special people. And look, if you haven't had the opportunity and you're thinking about going to an in-person event, we have one coming up in May. I would love to meet any of you. It's in Boston, May 3rd and 4th. The first day is how to build a luxury 5-star client experience. And the second day, there are all these different regional networking events in Boston. So we'd love to have you there. The interesting part is yesterday, out of all the tickets we sold, they're from 15 different states. I actually had to Google what some of those little 2-letter words meant, those, because I didn't know where some of them were, to be candid with you. So, you know, it's nice to see people getting back out, and whether it's coming to our events or other events, have events for yourself. Start connecting with people and getting back out there. So as I always say, I truly do from my heart. I mean, I love you all. Deborah's going to give you the demo. Stay on. This is where the recordings are. This is where you could communicate with other people. This is where you could post questions, because I often will go in and answer them. Or if they're enough of the same thing, I'll put it on and you'll get a notification. So I would highly encourage you to spend more time in here. It's a valuable resource. And this is where the continuity aspect of this comes. So I shall see you all soon. Deborah, she'll take over now.
Thank you,